Hey everyone, Lisa Resnick with The Real Tea. I am with special guest Ian Beniston, YNDC. What's up, Ian?
Hey, Lisa, thanks for having me on today.
Thank you for coming on. So literally, you pull up your profile on YNDC of all your accomplishments, and it is 2 pages worth of accomplishments.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. So you graduated from YSU with a degree in sociology.
Yeah. I grew up here in Youngstown on the north side near Crandall Park. If people know where that is, it's a
I
city
love
park.
Crandall Park.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool neighborhood, still is. Went to Ursuline High School, went to YSU for my undergrad, went to The Ohio State University for graduate school, studied city planning. Then came back here. I kind of kept a connection throughout that whole time. I started an internship, I think in 2005 in the city's planning office. That was when Jay Williams was the community development director and Bill Davignon was the planning director. So that's how I kind of got my feet wet in the fields of planning and community development, and really became inspired to want to do more here in the city, and decided I need to get more education. So I went to Ohio State for graduate school. I also spent the summer between my 2 years of graduate school and at the Technical University of Dresden, East Germany, which is another shrinking region of the world, perhaps for different reasons than we've experienced population loss here. So, was really curious during that time as to how particularly stagnant or shrinking regions of this country can stabilize and start to grow again. Then I moved back here immediately upon my graduation in spring of 2008. Started doing some community organizing on the South Side with a group called the Mahoning Valley Organizing Collaborative. Then within, I would say, a matter of months, I became involved with a group of people, Joe Ratner at the Wien Foundation, about a dozen community leaders, and Jay, who was the mayor at the time. And we started putting this organization, that is the Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation, together. So I've really been a part of it since the idea of it was conceived, and became the executive director in 2014. The first 4 or 5 years, I had the great pleasure of working with Presley Gillespie, from whom I learned a lot. We were a good team, but we have a great team here now, and organization continues to grow and get a lot of things done.
So for all those out there that don't know what YNDC does, give them a little brief at the significance of that organization to our community.
Sure. So like I said, the organization is not that old. We've only been in operation since 2010, but we're a citywide neighborhood planning and development organization, which means we do a lot of work to improve neighborhoods. Quite a bit of it is around housing, but it expands beyond that, everything from planning and data collection. And what I mean by that is doing things like citywide property surveys, so we know what's going on in our neighborhoods, then working with residents and other stakeholders to put together detailed neighborhood plans for everything from housing, infrastructure, your neighborhood parks, corridors, and then using those plans and that data to actually do work. So, we help homeowners. We've fixed about 600 owner-occupied houses. We renovate vacant properties. At this point, we've renovated somewhere around 155, 160 vacant buildings in the city. We're a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, so we provide one-on-one housing counseling to people, which really helps them become financially stable and successful. That's a free service that's available to anyone in our multi-county region here.
In which I feel like no matter what, people should tap into.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't matter what size of home you want to purchase. I do think that there needs to be some more counseling when it comes to home purchasing.
Yeah, and we work with people as long as they need. Some people have a lot of obstacles to work through, and they might be in the counseling program for years. Others, they're very close to buying a home and are financially stable, but just want to learn more about the process of buying a home. So it's different for everyone, and it's a free service, but it's really, and it's not one of those things that you necessarily see in terms of our work, but I would say it's one of the most important pieces, because it helps position people for success, not just in having quality housing, but in being
exactly right.
successful and stable, which is ultimately what we want with all of this stuff. We're not renovating houses so people go through foreclosure again. We want home buyers to be successful and stable when they're buying our home. So the housing counseling is a huge part of that. But we do a lot of just basic neighborhood cleanup stuff too. That's everything from boarding up houses. We've boarded up to about 2,500 houses in the city. So we've cleaned up a ton of vacant property. We've worked with the city and many partners to make investments in neighborhood parks, so new equipment. About 6 years ago, we put in place a citywide Safe Routes to School program, which the city continues to reap benefits from that in terms of grants to replace infrastructure within the immediate environs around our schools. I just saw the city just open the bids for another project out of that plan here last week. So there's lots of things that we do that people don't know we do too, just again, working with other partners. This past couple of years, we've also gotten into commercial development.
I know, I was just about to mention that. Now you're dabbling into commercial, like truly developing a neighborhood.
We're pretty deep into it now. We own about, 50,000 square feet of commercial real estate. Our first large building was a former Society for the Blind building. Then after that was a rescue mission distribution center, but we've renovated that, have 3 spaces or 3 units in there. Most recently, we bought a small kind of older retail plaza at the intersection of Canfield and Glenwood. A lot of people know it as that brightly colored neon plaza. And we're putting that project together right now. It needs really a total renovation. So we'll do everything from roof, HVAC, new storefronts, new parking lot, concrete. It'll be a modern a retail facility when it's done, and we certainly have plans to attract neighborhood serving businesses there. There is a restaurant in it, so there'll probably be a restaurant. We have a lot of other ideas about potential things that we'd like to see go in there, and certainly make it appropriate to the neighborhood as well.
Well, you're very strategic about it. So, because it's not like you're just picking commercial property just to pick commercial property. You're picking it into the neighborhoods that you're also trying to redevelop the homes.
Yeah, exactly. All of our commercial properties are on Glenwood Avenue. We have fixed a couple others that we've sold. For example, we did one on Bears Den, but the ones that we hold, they're all on Glenwood, which are our office. Currently, I can look out the window and see the plaza I just mentioned. So part of it's also just ease of management too.
Yep.
We do have a number of residential rental properties in this particular neighborhood too, both in the form of historic multiplexes, whether it's a duplex or a quad, but also single family rentals. And of course, that we renovate and sell lots of single family homes as well.
Yes, you do. And the renovations, they're absolutely beautiful. And it's one of the things when you go in and preview those properties, because I have shown those properties to clients in the past, that you can tell the quality of work is really well done, which is a nice ease for people who are purchasing a home, because you could get a little nervous when it comes to a renovated home, but you can see the quality there, and the concern just fades away with people, which is really nice. And I think it's also because the heart that's going into the renovation, because they know it's not just the monetary, it's about providing that ability for that person who purchased it to have a place where they can be successful and beyond.
Yep, absolutely.
So that is phenomenal. So when we talk about, because I know right now, and this I think started with Mayor Williams, the whole demoing of condemned properties, and creating more open space, if you will. Does YNDC have anything planned in the future with all those vacant lots, or is there any?
That's a good question. So that's something we're also involved in, both working with city government and our county land bank. Currently, we maintain about 400 properties, primarily on Glenwood Avenue and in the neighborhood around our office here. But as you probably know, about a year and a half ago, we built our first 3 new homes on Helena Avenue in the Handles neighborhood. They're absolutely beautiful. And if you drive down the street, they're even nicer now than when we built them. People have put out their porch furniture and landscape them even beyond what we did. So definitely added value. But that the street where we did those three, just to use that as an example, we had worked with the city and the land bank over a course of multiple years. The land bank had to tear down 5 or 6 houses. Then, of course, they had those lots in their inventory. If you drive down that street, otherwise it's a pretty solid street. And that particular neighborhood, going back towards Market Street, Pinehurst, Elva, Wilma, those streets, all great historic homes on those streets. So we thought, this is a perfect location where we can reactivate these vacant lots, start putting the fabric back together, but continue to elevate the standards of maintenance in the neighborhood by putting forth a high quality product. So, the houses that we built, Greenheart Companies constructed them. They're pretty high quality product. They have hardy board siding. We didn't use vinyl siding. We wanted to, again,
hardy board siding is high quality.
Yes,
that's your top.
Yeah, increasing the standard. We're planning to build a couple more houses over here now by our office. The challenge, and I think you know this, Lisa, with the new construction, is we still, in a lot of these locations, have a market gap. That's something that I've been in conversation with the city about. How do we really address? Because even as we've seen values rise in the city as well as everywhere dramatically in the past year, that's making that a little more possible, because if we can sell a house on some of these streets 120, 150 even, we're getting a little closer, but we're still not there in terms of closing the gap to deliver that high quality product, particularly with construction costs what they are now. So what we see in a lot of
everybody knows lumber is super pricey right now.
Yeah, we used to buy OSB for $6 a sheet. It's the last time I saw it was near $30 a sheet. So it's kind of crazy. Yep. But so what I was getting at is ultimately we think that putting together some sort of fund that fills the gap. And there's some things right now being looked at the federal level, the Neighborhood Homes Investment Act, the Rehab Act, that would do that. But you're also seeing a lot of local jurisdictions. So Cuyahoga County and Cleveland have done just what I'm describing. So meaning if it costs me $150,000 to build a house, but I can only sell it for $120,000, there's this fund that's been put together that fills in that $30,000 gap. So I think once we get something like that in place, we can see a fairly significant increase, particularly in the cities, what I would characterize middle neighborhoods, where we can start filling those lots back in. So like the example of Handles, because what we found is there's great demand too. Those 3 houses, we actually had people calling saying, I can afford to pay more. Can you build me a house like that? So, but
especially now.
Yeah, exactly. And the demand's there across the board for rental property. We just finished a house over here on Winona Drive. It was rented pretty much immediately as we put it up, and we have multiple qualified applicants. So with all of these things, I think housing quality, and I would say for listeners, I see housing quality and housing need. It's not just a Youngstown issue, it's a regional issue. We need to be continuing to investing in our existing stock, but building more supply. I mean, I still don't see on the multifamily side, I still don't see modern apartments, outside of downtown. If we get even into the suburbs, a lot of our apartment complexes are dated. And if you think about it, even if they were built in 1990, they're 30 years old now. And if you haven't seen investment, I mean, that's a long time. And, people that are looking for an attractive place, they want modern quality spaces. But even in the city beyond that, I personally, I don't want people living in low quality housing, and that's part of our mission here. We want to continue, when we develop our rentals, we make them lead safe. So as you know, they're houses, most of them are built in the 20s or 30s. So we do get a lead clearance on them. So we're developing not only quality, but lead safe properties, so people can have that peace of mind as well. But we have a lot of work to do, and it's an effort that's bigger than YNDC or bigger than any one organization or developer to kind of achieve those goals.
So I can tell you the real estate community is behind you. As a matter of fact, I think the first time I met you was at a Youngstown Columbiana realtor event, in which you were awarded another award that you received.
Yeah, that was, I think Morris Levy gave me that award. Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
You do have a lot of accolades, and you've deserved them. You've earned every one that you've received, and I cannot wait to see how much more you accomplish. I know that there is a lot out there, but not only are you focused with YNDC and everything that you do, but you're like, hey, let's get these other organizations together. Let's see how much more we can accomplish together as a team to make things happen, which is phenomenal and something that we definitely need. It's never a one-man show ever.
Yep, absolutely.
Which is brilliant, and I love it. And thank you so much. And also, I watched the documentary,
Okay.
The
Yep.
Places That Make Us.
Yep.
I admit I definitely cried
Wow.
a bit.
Wow.
It was very touching, and I even think the portion with the woman who went through the counseling in order to purchase her first home. I mean, I think that was one of the greatest things to see, the touching, and that is how it is for buyers. That's how it is for buyers, especially in this market right now.
And we didn't know how it would when Bernie, the woman you're referring to, agreed to be filmed. We didn't know what would happen. That wasn't anything that was scripted, so that they were just following an actual client. And the house that they show in the film and that she ultimately purchased is a pretty sweet home too. But that's another one that was vacant and came to us through the county land bank, who, again, we can't do our work here without them and their ability to use tax foreclosure and hold properties and demolish properties. And I think still not enough people even know what the county land bank is, or us, but we have these great tools here in our community that are working hard to bring properties back to the market. But yeah, that was pretty cool to see too. Yeah, for me, it's kind of weird to watch it. I did watch it again this week. I hadn't seen it in months. My wife and I watched it on the World Channel, so it's a little weird though to watch yourself in something like that.
I first thought you had an Irish wolfhound, by the way.
I did have an Irish wolf.
Oh, so there. Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, she's gone to a better place since.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that was my girl.
They're truly members of our family.
Oh yeah,
They really are.
She was a special animal, though. Wolfhounds, I don't know if you've met.
She was beautiful. She was huge.
She was actually pretty getting older in the film. But wolfhounds, you probably know, they only live 8 or 9 years, so she was getting close to 9. But yeah,
a beautiful, beautiful dog. Thank you so much. And I can't wait until we can all get together and do the Day of Caring again.
Yep, sure. Yeah. We're hoping to be able to do maybe something a little bit smaller this year, but still not quite sure what's going to happen. But hopefully everyone can get vaccinated and we can all get back doing things like that sooner than later.
I got my first one.
Me too. Yep. Couple weeks. Second. I'm ready though.
Me too. I'm definitely ready. Well, thank you so much. And Ian, tomorrow we'll be at my house with Krista at the Homes and Hops podcast studio. Tiffany, to do the Homes and Hops podcast. So stay tuned and find out more about everything that they're doing for our city. Thank you.
Yep. Cool. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for notifications. And also make sure to connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all of your business news, visit businessjournaldaily.com. For all of your arts and entertainment news, go to afterhoursyoungstown.com.